So, what I worry about with J.J. McCarthy is, because I do think he has talent. I think he can spin it. I think he moves pretty well. When I watch him play, his confidence can ebb and flow, drive to drive. Well, now you bring Kyler in the building and Carson Wentz in the building. I'm like, okay, that's not great for a young man's confidence. It does feel like he would be a little affected by that. Now, Brock Purdy plays like he's Dan Marino. They bring Darnold in the building, and Brock Purdy played better. Some guys are just like, hey, I like Brock Purdy's one of those guys. He thinks he's the best quarterback in the league. God love him. I think when you bring Kyler in, I think it ends the J.J. McCarthy thing, or at least punctures his confidence some. Do you like it?
I mean, this is a sink or swim for him. He's almost out the door, almost. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, he's done in Minnesota. I disagree. He could be. But this reminds me a lot when I was in Seattle. Like, they traded for me. It was a big deal. I'm the guy. And I kind of fell on my face that first year. And they brought in Trent Dilfer, who had just won the Super Bowl. He was a veteran guy. They brought in other veteran guys. I was teammates with kind of like proven guys that weren't the long-term answer either, probably. And that's kind of what you got here. You got Kyler Murray on a one-year deal. Carson Wentz is back. He's a pro. I think this is an investment in a chance for J.J. McCarthy. Hey, listen, man, you were not ready the first time around. You're probably not going to be our starter to start this season. It's probably going to be Kyler Murray. But you better be ready, because this is the NFL, and you probably will get another shot, and you better be ready. You know, fortunately for me, Trent Dilfer, unfortunately for him, he tore his Achilles in the game against Dallas when Emmitt Smith broke the rushing record, and I'm standing there on the sidelines wondering if I'm ever going to get a chance. I go back in that game. We win the game. I never look back. I'm the starter the rest of my career in Seattle. And that, 10 years in Seattle, Ring of Honor, all the stuff. But it almost never happened. I mean, I was 1 foot out the door as well. So I think J.J. McCarthy, in a similar way, he essentially is 1 foot out the door, but I'm not giving up on it yet. Now, if there's a team that wants him, the Vikings might say, hey, okay, fine, you can have him. But I do believe the Vikings would love for him to be the quarterback of the future. I just don't think it'll be week one.
Yeah, I think that's all really interesting. We talked obviously about JJ.
Yeah, I think that's all really interesting. We talked obviously about JJ and Kyler and all that type of stuff. Especially from like a more practical standpoint. And so I think this is like a good jumping off point to discuss some of the other things. First off, bringing Sam Darnold in the building. I don't think anybody was afraid at that point. Nobody thought Sam Darnold was anything. Nobody thought Sam Darnold was even anything. There was no sense that Sam Darnold was going to start over Brock Purdy. Nobody felt that way. Okay, so that example is just, it's hilarious. It was 2023, not 2026. Okay. It's been a crazy 3-year window for Sam Darnold. So, no. That's nonsense. And that's someone who obviously loves Sam Darnold. What I found interesting is that Matt is saying Kyler's the starter. He's like JJ it's not over for JJ, but Kyler is the starter. And the story about Matt back in Trent Dilfer and then tearing his ACL, yeah, man, that stuff is all real. It's just your opportunity to become who you are and not it's just insane. It really is. It's just the tiniest thinnest of lines and it's crazy. And the reality is that Kyler Murray is well on the table to get banged up and get hurt. Same thing with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is practically 55 years old at this point. He is an old whatever age he is. He's an old version of that. He is banged up. Multiple surgeries. He is banged up. He has a lot of wear and tear on his body. Kyler Murray has pretty much struggled to stay healthy. He has had some major injuries. He is small. He's been banged up a lot throughout the course of his career as well. So, it is 100% even if Kyler ends up being the number one quarterback, there is still true opportunities for JJ. Also, we're Colin saying that his confidence and flows. I don't know what he's talking about. Listen, his quality of game and flowed, but it wasn't confidence. I don't think I never watched J.J. McCarthy was like, oh, he lacks confidence in this situation or this. I don't think that at all. And now he's going to lack confidence because they bring in Kyler or whatnot. No, he understands that he was not good enough. I think J.J. McCarthy gets it. He understands. He understands that he was drafted. He got injured. Sam Darnold played great. They moved on from Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl. He was inconsistent. He had some awesome moments, some downright terrible moments, and he got injured multiple times. He understands. And now they're going into year 3. Yeah, he's not dumb. You only lack confidence in those moments when you have some delusion about what you're owed or what you're expecting, where you're like, oh, no. I'm the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And like, oh, yeah. Did you hear that they just went out and got Kyler? You'd be like, what? What? Like, there's no way, right? Like, no. Of course, this is what the Minnesota Vikings have to do. They have to do they have to take care of themselves. They have to protect themselves. They have to cover their own backs. He's not dumb. He knows that. Can the pressure be on? Can the volume be turned up? Can what's at stake be higher than ever? Absolutely. Is that the same thing as losing your confidence or something not good for your confidence? Not at all. Not at all. And listen, man, you either can bring it or you can't. You either can do it or you don't. You either walk the path or you don't. Either way, keep moving. And I think JJ has shown to be able to handle these moments. I think I do again you can handle these moments and still fail. Absolutely. That's why I always take issue when people say, oh, so and so choked. No. Choking is when you can't handle the moment. It is not failing. Choking is when you can't handle the moment. Even if you play a bad game in a high-pressure situation, doesn't mean you fail. It doesn't mean that you choked. It means you failed. But it doesn't mean that you choke. There's a difference. Choking is when you consistently can't handle that moment. And that is when your confidence can be fragile. That is when your confidence can be uncomfortable. And listen, there are some elite players who can handle those moments. I play with him with the best athlete I ever played with was absolutely brilliant. There was literally nothing that this guy could not do no matter what sport. Played them all with him. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer. All of them. When he was winning by a lot. When we were up by a lot. When he was up by a lot. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. When the pressure was on. Yikes. It was just different. It was just different. And I was nowhere close to being the athlete that he is, but I could handle those moments better than him. And yet, if he could handle those moments better, I mean, it would be unstoppable. Maybe you'd all know his name. And so that exists. And so when someone clearly has that, whether they fail or not, it's not like I succeeded all the time. I fail all the time. And it's not like that the moment still doesn't ever get to me. Of course it does. But like I take issue when we're just going to start to invent a fragility when it's unwarranted. I don't think that makes it. And that was Khan's take from the very beginning. From the very beginning when JJ had his first game in the NFL when they beat the Bears and he said this is like Baker Mayfield, that his confidence goes up and down, and when he's doing good it really goes high, and I immediately shot that down. And that was theoretically when JJ McCarthy's stock was at its highest, and I was like no, I 100% disagree with that. 100% disagree with that. So I think some of this will actually be good for JJ McCarthy. I do, because I actually think it feeds into what makes JJ good. And listen, theoretically, because JJ does not have the experience, he does not have the time on task. He hasn't even played a full season worth of NFL football. The reality is, even with Carson Wentz being older, etc., Wentz and Kyler are legitimately ahead from a football perspective, ahead of J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy just does not have that experience. In this moment in time, Kyler is going to be more comfortable on the football field. Carson's going to understand the game more deeply, etc. And so that is where it's the work for J.J. to prove my talent is great. I put in the work and I can surpass Kyler and Carson. And the reality is if you can't, then I don't know if you ever were, and it will be interesting to see if a team takes a flyer on JJ and how low that could be, right, for them to bite on it, right? It's just like if someone was like, we'll give you a second-round pick for JJ, which is pretty high at this point. I mean, that's super high. I think there's a great chance at Minnesota like, yeah, we'll take that 100%. What if it's like a 4th rounder, 5th rounder, right? Like, what's the floor where they're like, no, we're not doing that. Because you do reach a point. I mean, we've seen it. We've absolutely seen it with lots of other quarterbacks over those years where you're just like, no, we'll just kind of unload whatever we can get at this point. We've seen that. We've seen it with, the 49ers quarterback who I can't think of his name right now, whatever his name is, he went to the Cowboys and then went to, the Chargers. So, yeah, I think unfortunately this is what I had said and this is what I'm going to continue to say because this is how I honestly really feel and nothing has changed it just yet. This is just a really messy situation. It's just a messy situation. The Minnesota Vikings are in a mess, but this specifically is a messy situation, but I understand why it's happening and I agree with the moves that the Minnesota Vikings have done so far. I do think there would have been an argument to just go out and get Malik Willis because I think but although that would have officially been like we are moving on from JJ, but this way they're kind of like we still want JJ to be our quarterback of the future. We bring in Kyler for literally nothing and we still have Carson as well, who again, make no mistake about it, there is the potential for Carson to still have a lot, some juice left. I've always been a Carson truther. And so there is some of that. And so again, at the minimum, what the Vikings have done is just put themselves in a position to not be an absolute 3-win disaster where Justin Jefferson's not touching the ball for like 5 aim stretches. So they're at least protecting against that rather than saying we have exactly what we need to win it all. So, unless Kyler ends up shocking the NFL world but it's just messy. It's just messy. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings? Do you think J.J. McCarthy has one foot out the door? Do you think he's pretty much done? You think Kyler's automatically already the starter at this point? And I don't mean, it's, he's got to earn it, but like the sense of like the Vikings are thinking, yeah, Kyler's our starter, right? Like it's just that's because there's no way a coach, I just don't believe it. This isn't, some 10-year-old travel tryout here where the coach is like, I'm looking at this through brand new eyes right now. I don't know any of you guys like Kevin O'Neill's already thinking what he wants to do offensively. He already has an incredibly strong idea who his starting quarterback is. They're either going with a Kyler or they're going with Jay, right? Like they have the idea. So, I'm curious where you guys land with all of that. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help visibility in the algorithm. Thank you so much.